Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Dark Side of the Word. My name is Kate, and I'm here with my co-host CJ.
Hey, everybody.
And this week's episode is all about our content we've consumed. It is time for us to bash and love and chat and talk about all the books, movies, television shows, whatever has gotten our interest in the past month since we last talked to you guys. This is going to be a monthly segment now since we're all getting used to the weekly episodes that we're going to be having. So you can look forward to once a month hearing from us to decide what you should watch and read next. Because we're such experts, right?
Absolutely, total experts. That's all I do is just consume content, nothing else.
We should be the only source people need. I'm just gonna.
I agree.
I'm just
It's a service to the people, really.
I mean, we're doing all this hard work for them. I mean, why sit through an entire season of Based on a True Story if it wasn't worth it?
I was going to say the whole purpose in life now is to just Netflix and chill, but I have recently learned that that does not mean what I think it means. So I will not say that that is what I do because that is not what I think it is. To sit on the couch and watch Netflix.
I want to just not agree with culture and take that phrase back for those of us that like to say it.
It makes perfect sense to me in a very innocent way. I don't know why somebody had to come along and corrupt it.
I like it. It's like I'm watching Netflix in my pajamas and I'm chilling with popcorn. That's what I want it to mean. So I'm going to take it back here on the podcast. Netflix and chill means sitting on your couch with a hookah vibe.
Yes, hookah vibes.
And watching whatever streaming platform you're watching.
Yes.
Nothing else.
I think that is a good idea. Because, the only people who've ever said it to me are my friends, most of whom are married or in relationships. So I just assumed Netflix and chill means Netflix and chill, just as we described. I have not heard it used in this other way before. So this was just complete news for me. And I sent it to somebody. I sent it to, my younger coworker, and she just looked at me, and I'm like, what? And she told me that it means something else. I'm like, oh, that is not workplace appropriate. But no, that is not what I was doing. I was actually chilling and watching Netflix, and it was a delightful weekend.
It's like the saying, see you next Tuesday.
That one I know, thanks to Sex and the City.
That one for me is thanks to Vanderpump Rules. Yeah.
I don't even know what Vanderpump Rules is.
Have you... Whoa. For real? Nothing has passed your page with Scandival?
Scandival?
You might be the one person on the planet that does not know what's going on. This is made
what is
New York Times.
I don't read the New York Times.
Good Morning America. what?
I don't watch Good Morning America. I'm very out of tune with current events, which is ironic given things that we have talked about, but yes.
It is Shock the World. So essentially, Vanderpump Rules is a spinoff from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So it was started...
that's why I don't watch that either.
But you know what it is. Anyway...
I know what Beverly Hills, the Housewives thing is, yes.
So it was spun off because one of the girls slept with someone's husband on the show, and they made a spin-off because one of the other housewives owned Sir, which is a restaurant, Lisa Vanderpump, which I think you know who that is, at least.
Nope. Okay, wow. Not a clue.
Wow, I am schooling you. It is fine. Okay.
Shots in the dark here.
Well, anyway, it's been on for 10 years, and
oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I've been under a rock, apparently.
Yes. And there was this whole drama because this girl broke up with her fiance because he was a brat, and this couple took her under their wing to kind of help her get back on her feet because she's very naive. And the two ladies became best friends, and then it turned out that her 10-year boyfriend, 8-year boyfriend. So this couple, they were together for 8 years. Okay, practically common law marriage.
Okay.
Had an affair with the girl.
Are we surprised?
No, but in their house.
Don't hire the hot babysitter or au pair. That's just, everybody knows that.
Yeah, had sex in the car when she was grieving her dog. Had sex in their house when she was at her grandmother's funeral. Lots of hidden things.
It's harsh.
Wow. It's a very...
And so you're recommending this show
as
part of your content recommendations? Because I'm not really sold on it.
To you, not to the world.
It does sound kind of dark, though, because there's cheating and scandal and betrayal.
So it's called
And just
Scandival because the guy's name is Sandoval. Sandoval. So it's called Scandival.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fine.
okay.
I think it was mostly that it was her best friend that did it. It's all you'd have to watch like all the seasons to like understand what's going on.
Sounds very real life soap opera.
But a guy is a DJ, and at SUR he ran a DJ night called See You Next Tuesday on Tuesday, and hence how I learned See You Next Tuesday. Anyway, this is going on a long tangent that I'm sure the entire world except you knows what Scandival is. Okay.
Yes.
So
thank you for the private public tutorial.
Since I have schooled you, just kidding. How about you start your content recap, and I will give the listeners a break from my voice.
Okay. I will start the content recap. So, I have not had a chance to read a lot of dark books recently, sadly. I did read one that I can recommend. It is called House of Cotton, and it's dark, it's macabre, but it's also very good. It started off really powerfully, and then it kind of petered out toward the end for me, though. But if you love gritty, dark Southern fiction, you should give this one a try. It's about a woman who gets paid to work at a funeral home, but not in a more traditional role or a traditional sense. I won't say more than that. But the author, Monica Brashears, is a really beautiful writer. She says things in completely different ways. She uses different words and different phrases to describe things that I've heard, described a million times. But the way she does it, it just puts a really fresh spin on familiar language. So I recommend that one for the writing alone. And even if the story gets a little kind of wonky at the end, just keep going because the writing is really good. The other books that I have read that I can recommend that aren't dark but are still really good are Horse by Geraldine Brooks, which was fantastic. Brooks is one of my favorite authors. She writes beautiful historical fiction that kind of straddles the line between commercial and literary, and the story is so well done, and I highly recommend it if you want great historical fiction with a contemporary side story thrown in there. And yes, there is a horse in it. Many people have asked me that when I've recommended the book Horse, but it's not all about horses. And no, you don't have to worry about getting too attached to the horse. So, I don't think anybody's going to be mad at me for spoiling that. You don't have to have a horrific animal death in there to be afraid of. So, because no one wants that.
It's fine.
And then the
animal updates, you warning us that there's
right.
We're a dark side.
It's like a trigger warning, kind of.
Yeah, we're dark. We like dark books, but we draw the line at
animal cruelty.
At least I do. You, on the other hand, you sent me some stuff and did not warn me, so you're still on the blacklist for that.
I originally was not going to read Horse because I was worried about that, and then I kind of forgot, and I picked it up anyway because I just love that author so much, and then I was invested in the story, and I just couldn't stop. But thankfully, I had no reason to worry.
The title didn't just warn you not to pick it up again?
I don't know what. It's been a rough couple of months, okay? I did not. I just blanked out completely, and I'm just like, oh, she has a new book, let me read it, and I just started reading. And then the horse came immediately onto the scene. I'm like, fuck, this could end really, really badly. But I just kept reading. So that was good. And then the other book I read that was good was Lights of Sugarberry Cove, which is magical realism by Heather Weber, who wrote Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe, which is one of my favorite books for magical realism. And this was good. It wasn't as good as the Blackbird Cafe, but if you're looking for something a little mystical, a little heartwarming, this is a good one to do.
What was the name of the famous restaurant in Tennessee where all the singers get their start? Isn't it Blackbird?
Oh, I have no idea.
There's a famous...
I don't know about a lot of things apparently today.
Clearly. Let's see. Or no, it's the Bluebird Cafe.
Oh.
Let me see. Tennessee. Let's see if I'm right. It's the Bluebird Cafe. And you said Blackbird, correct?
I said Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe.
Okay.
Which does take place in the South, but not about music.
Yeah, so Blackbird is the famous Tennessee spot where I want to say, don't quote, Taylor Swift even got her, played her first time there. It's famous for first time country artists, singing.
Okay. I only know of, the Grand Ole Opry for, country singing, because I used to watch that movie about Loretta Lynn, coal miner's daughter, and that's the only thing I remember about, Southern music, so.
I feel like when I went to the Grand Ole Opry on our drive across country, it was a letdown.
Yeah.
Kind of was. And I was
in
this
the building.
I was in this whole, I had been watching Nashville, so I was in this whole Tennessee, Nashville, thing, and I was like, we have to go to the Grand Ole, we have to stop in Nashville. And we went down the famous street where, all the bars are, and we went to the Grand Ole Opry, and I was like, okay. Huh.
I have to say, if I'm going to Nashville, I am mainly going for the food, namely biscuits. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any expectations for music, just the biscuits.
I hate country music, so don't ask me why I was even watching Nashville.
I like some country, but I'm very, very picky. I like more like old school, like Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn, and Johnny Cash, like that kind of like country type stuff. But the modern stuff where we just sing about like, pickup trucks and beer and dogs, no. We probably just lost like, the few listeners that we have because they're probably country fans. But that's okay. That's okay.
Well, I will redeem myself slightly because I had to listen to it. Luke Holmes, I believe it was Luke Holmes. Watch me even name the wrong person. Put out a cover, Fast Car. He's the only artist that has been
I heard that.
Yeah, he's the only artist that Tracy Chapman allowed to put out a cover. Like tons of people have asked.
It was good.
I loved it. Except I wish he would have just changed the one line where he's like, "I'm a checkout girl at the store," or whatever. He could have said checkout.
Maybe he feels like a checkout girl.
I shouldn't judge.
Who are you to judge? Maybe he was feeling that vibe.
All right, those are your books.
Those are my books.
So should I jump?
Go with your books?
I was like, yeah. Should I jump my books and then we'll go to?
I think you should do your books and then we'll go back to like
visual
and film and stuff.
Visual content. Okay. So, sorry, friends. I'm looking at my list. Okay, so. If you've been to my blog recently, this is probably coming at no surprise to anyone, but I finished the Arc of the Scythe series because yes, we know your feelings, okay? If you guys missed that episode where we actually reviewed Scythe, pause now, go listen to it.
Go back and listen and hear the great debate that existed between us.
Because if anyone was going to finish the series, it was not going to be CJ. Okay?
No, it was not going to be me. So it's good that you went through with it.
But since we had to talk about the book, I thought I'd just give everyone a little quick recap of Arc of Scythe in general. Okay, so I'm going to spoil the first book because, like I said, pause, go back and listen, or read the book, or fast forward a couple minutes. But, so we leave off, we have Citra and... Crap, I just forgot their names. Rowan? Is it? No, yeah.
Rowan?
Right? That sounds right?
Worked hard to erase that name from my memory, but I think it is Rowan.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so we have Citra and Rowan, who are pretty much the main characters of the first book. So going into books 2 and 3, I assumed that they were going to be the main characters again, and that this book was going to be about them. Arc of the Scythe. I don't think I'm an idiot to assume this. All right.
No, I think that's a reasonable expectation.
So Shushman was kind of a brat and decided to introduce a whole new character in book 2 that pretty much takes over the rest of the series.
Bastard.
And I loved the character, don't get me wrong. But again, the title of the series is Arc of a Scythe, okay? He ain't a scythe. He kind of gets used by the Thunderhead. But he's really great. I love him. But it was just like, why are we making this change? To the point that Citra and Rand get taken out of the story for like 3 years. Like, they literally get taken out of the story for 3 years so we don't have to deal with them.
Now that's just convenient right there.
Yes.
I don't know what to do with these people. We're just not going to talk about them for 3 years.
Exactly. I don't know what was in his head. And then we come to like the Rand of it all and his involvement with the story again, which I won't spoil how he comes back to the picture. And then we get to the very end of the series where the Scythe problem gets solved and space is involved.
Space. We go into space. I thought we weren't going into space. They had tried it and failed, from what I dimly remember. Okay.
So,
big surprise.
My overall feeling of the series is I hated it. Like, I wanted to slam the last book and just be like, this was bullshit. What was the point? The first book I still stand by. I think the first book could stand on its own. I think the first book is great.
Yeah.
To respond to that.
Oh my goodness. Friends, my watch is freaking out for some reason. So.
Is that what I keep hearing? I was wondering.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's going to be in.
Is it you? I'm confused.
It's going to be in this recording. I'm probably being too animated, but she can't figure out what I'm saying anyway, so it's fine. But I think that Scythe can stand on its own, and I still highly recommend it. I just don't think anyone should read the rest of the series.
Like, I have many series where I recommend only the first book. I'm like, pretend it's not a series.
Like, do you think that, like, the first book could just be a standalone? Like, it doesn't need to continue, right? Like, it could really just stand.
I mean, the ending kind of leaves it hanging a bit, wondering what's going to happen. But then I just say, make it up yourself. Decide what happened on your own, and give them a nice little ending or whatever ending you might want.
But it's not like you have to continue on if you don't want to.
I didn't. That's for sure.
Then I also read Hellbent, which is the second book to... Wow. My brain.
I can't even help you with this one because I have no idea
Ninth
what you're
House.
talking about.
Ninth House. Which also, friends, if you listen to
We're hitting all my favorites today, I see. Okay.
So if you're also curious what our thoughts on Ninth House since Hellbent is the second book, pause now or fast forward so nothing's spoiled about Hellbent and go listen to the review. It's funny. It's great. But I have to say that I'm still very, very in love with this series.
Okay.
And it's not that it's even that good. It's just I'm kind of obsessed with Alex. The other characters from book 1 become more of part of the story in book 2. And I just fucking love the world. Like, I just want to, like, I love this Yale backdrop, spooky atmosphere.
Academia.
Yes. And I love Alex. Like, honestly, I'm reading it for her. I love her so much. Her and, not Darrington, because that's the guy. The girl that runs the house, Dara.
I erased it from all memory after I read this and reviewed
it. Dawes. I am obsessed with Dawes.
That's right. All the names with the same first initials that confuse us. That is correct.
But Dawes has such a better part to play in book 2, and I'm kind of obsessed with her as well.
Good for her.
So I highly recommend it. If you liked Hellbent, continue on with the series because it is very, very good. So I did that. I also read A Closed and Common Orbit, which is book 2 to A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which is kind of a fun space opera that if you like Firefly, it kind of deals with that. At least the first book is about a crew and family and all this stuff. And this one kind of like does start where the last one left off, but it's all pretty much all with new characters. It's not really dealing with the crew of the ship anymore, which made me really sad, but it was still pretty good. I wasn't really in the mood to read it at the time, but I'm glad that I did read it. And yeah, now I'm currently reading a book I do not think I like. I'm sorry to the person who may be listening to this that recommended it to me. I will give updates later. All right.
It happens.
So that's our paper content.
Okay.
And before we continue on with our movie contents and TV contents, I just want to remind everyone that if you're looking to shop for books and you want to help support your small local artists, CJ and I are both ambassadors, right? Ambassadors? That's what we call ourselves? No. Affiliates, sorry. See, this is what I'm asking. Affiliates for bookshop.org. So I have the link for our stores, quote stores, in the description for this podcast. So feel free to click. Also remember that for August, we are reading Strange Sally Diamond by Liz Nugent. And if you would like to get that book so you can join us along on the last Thursday of the month, please use our affiliate links. You will cost no extra to you, but it helps give us a little bit back to help us keep running this podcast and making all of our great art. So thank you, friends. But moving on.
Yes, please buy for you and buy for your friends as well, because that's the nice thing to do.
All right. What have you been binging on the screen?
Okay, so I have been watching a lot of scary movies recently because I feel like a lot more have just come to my attention lately. So I have 3 pretty good horror movies to recommend. The first one is called Come Play, and I forget what streaming service it is on, but you can probably find it. It's called Come Play, and which was excellent. And I will give a trigger warning right off the bat. So the main character is a young boy who is severely autistic. So if you are dealing with that in your family, in your life, you might find parts of this movie difficult to watch because a lot of it can be very heartbreaking to see, but the autism plays such an interesting part to the story. Like the whole story the horror of it revolves around this boy being autistic. So if you can handle that, it's really worth it because it just puts this really unique, smart twist on the classic monster story and about being alone and wanting to feel understood and how this, people create imaginary characters and monsters to feel more understood. It was probably one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while.
And that is on Prime. I Googled it for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. Wait,
I
hold
think
on.
I paid something for it.
Has any of these three to do with that hand one that I told you about? Or have you not seen it
one.
yet? Touch the hand
I
for
don't know.
90 seconds. The dog. We're always worried about the dog.
No, that's
okay.
in theaters, and I have not seen that one yet.
Had to ask. I need an update when you see that. Because it's from me.
I probably will not see it until it starts streaming because, number one, I only have one person who will go see scary movies with me. And number two, he's only available to go in the evenings, and I do not want to drive from the movie theater back to my home in the dark after watching a scary movie. So we have an agreement that when it comes on streaming, he usually comes over at the house because it's my husband's best friend. So he comes over, sees my husband, then joins me to watch a scary movie. So it'll probably be like 3 months until I watch that one.
Yeah, I'm no help for you. I can't. I'm just gonna live vicariously through you for this movie because I really want to know like what it's like, but I'm not gonna see it. I need to know what happens to the dog.
I know. I'm a little scared to watch it because of that image of the dog in the closet. I'm like, I really, really hope nothing happens to that dog in the closet because I will be so upset. But I'm still gonna watch it anyway.
All right, sorry. So, what else?
Okay, so that was Come Play. The other one I watched is called The Unholy with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It is about a girl who thinks she's being visited by the Virgin Mary and given divine insight, but she's not. It's something very, very different. And I love any kind of horror story that plays on religious themes like The Exorcist and Exorcism of Emily Rose. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in The Possession from a couple years ago, which is about a Dybbuk box, which is one of my favorite, like, creepy elements and tropes to use in horror. He was also in Supernatural as the dad, and of course, all my Grey's Anatomy fans will know him as Izzy's beloved Denny, R.I.P., because I just always love him as that role. And I think Sam Raimi was also part of this production. And I love Sam Raimi. His Drag Me to Hell movie from years ago was fantastic. So I will pretty much watch anything he does.
And this one is on Hulu.
On Hulu. Okay.
Yes.
On Hulu. And then the last one I can recommend is an older movie. It's called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Oh, I've heard of this one.
And it's from 2011. What'd you say?
I've heard of this one.
You heard this one? And it's about, like, these little creatures who live in a very creepy basement. And it's based on fairy lore, which I love because true fairy lore, fairies are terrifying creatures. They're not these cute little tutued beings that live in flowers and stuff. Yeah. This is true to what fairies are. I know, it's fantastic.
No, I pulled up images. I can't.
Okay. It's not for everybody, but if you love true fairy lore, then this is a really good movie for you.
I love true fairy.
Is in it.
I love true fairy lore, but I don't want to watch the movie. Last time CJ recommended a horror movie to me, I literally watched it through my fingers because I couldn't do it. Like, she thinks I'm all, like, when we first started this relationship, she thought I was so into all this stuff and I could handle it, and she had to realize I can only read it.
You started a podcast called Dark Side of the Word. I think it's a natural progression.
I can only read it.
Okay, yeah. So maybe this creepy creature thing is not for you. But it still was good. It wasn't the best movie ever, but Guillermo del Toro worked on it, and I always love anything he does, so that brings it up a notch.
He did that new Pinocchio movie, right?
I have not seen that.
But he did the new Pinocchio movie.
He did do the new one, yeah.
It's on Netflix. You should. I mean, if you like him, you should watch it.
I was never a Pinocchio fan in general, so like I just didn't have an urge to do that. There's some Guillermo del Toro things I haven't watched. I tried watching he had like a Netflix special of like 6 episodes of like creepy tales that were kind of like Lovecraftian. Is that the right word?
Oh, Lovecraft.
I only got through like 3 out of 6 because it just got too gruesome for me, because he does tend to, edge on the side of gruesome sometimes, and I just couldn't do it. I was watching and I just nearly threw up and I had to stop. So sometimes this stuff gets a little too intense for me, but this one was mostly good. I had to look away during one part, but it was good. It was good. I recommend it.
You will be our expert horror person.
What'd you say?
You'll be our expert horror person.
I'll be the expert horror person. Or try to be the expert horror person. But that is really all I have been watching, just the scary movies. Now that I'm back working full-time and I have like a pile of arcs I'm reading for the blog now that I'm working my way through. So there hasn't been a lot of TV watching time, unfortunately.
That's fine. I will take up the rest of the time because I have a lot to say.
All right, you go.
Are we all ready? Are we ready for me? Because I'm going to talk about Barbie, babies.
Yes.
I'm a Barbie girl. Okay, that's all I can sing because I think there's like a 3-second rule. Oh, yes. So I know we're dark side of the word, but I mean, we can still love Barbie. And did I dress up in pink when I went? Hell yeah, I did.
And you didn't send me pictures? I don't think I've seen you in anything but black.
Whoops. Well, the shirt that I wore also promptly went to the donate pile.
Noted.
But I was so disappointed because I was the only one in my group to wear pink. And I was like, didn't we all get the memo? It seemed like the nation did. Where were they? But yes, so Barbie, everyone. I loved it. Like, I want to say like 80s, 90s. I can't remember my exact rating out of 100 I gave it, but it was pretty high up there. Margot Robbie, pun intended, is such a doll. Loved her to death. I can't imagine anyone else playing Barbie. I know everyone's dying over Ryan Gosling, and did he do a good job? Yes, I think so. Did he steal the show for me? Honestly, so I stayed away from most trailers except like the first one that didn't give anything away, but was like, oh, this is Barbie world. And like I knew the premise, which is that, you know, she goes from Barbie world to the real world. That doesn't give anything away. I feel like everyone knows that.
Yeah.
So that was like the only thing I walked in with because I really just wanted to honestly be surprised. And I'm really glad that I did because what I think came out of it and for her reasoning for going to the real world and all that stuff was just such a thought-provoking piece and actually lended so much to the comedy of the movie about it all because it dealt with feminism and it was great and it's hilarious and we get to see I don't know what I'm going to say. That's my brain for y'all. It just went in La La Land. It went to Barbie Land. My brain went to Barbie Land. So, rewinding thoughts. The set design and visuals for this movie are beyond. If you are into any type of film and studying film, I think that you'll also find this is a great study because honestly I've watched so many movies and most of the time I can pick out the CGI, and to be honest, except for like the very obvious, I could not understand how they did Barbie Land. The way that they made it look so plastic but still realistic, still blown away. Lots of nods to if you ever played Barbie as a kid, lots of nods to those things to make you laugh. Super hilarious. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but if you can do that, I think it's really, really an enjoyable movie. I know a lot of people are ranting on this because they think it's just a millennial movie because the topics that they discuss. I was really upset when I heard someone's review of us being like we're the cringy white feminist of this day because when you get to the big like monologue at the end to like tie everything together, I wanted to like be like yeah, and I was totally for it. So I guess I'm a cringe white feminist.
President.
But I don't understand how what she said makes us cringe white feminists when it is an accurate statement. And I can see some women not going through that, but it very much exists still in this world. And I play rugby, and I have been treated like that monologue a lot. Oh. So it exists, ladies. And so maybe instead of judging, you listen. I'm not looking at you, CJ. I'm just...
Thank you, because it looked like you were
Sorry.
looking at
Well,
me.
I have to stare at the screen.
I haven't seen the movie, so I know you're not trying to send me any kind of subliminal message.
But, like, how about instead of judging and being like, that's not my experience as a woman, you listen and you realize that maybe that is the experience for a lot of women, okay? So I saw that. I highly recommend it. I am seeing Oppenheimer next week, so be prepared for next month's, because I will talk about that to see how it is. I also... took the plunge for everyone. If you're not surprised, I watched Based on a True Story, which is on Peacock. It has Kaylee Cuoco, I believe that's how you say her name, the girl from Flight Attendant. She also did Big Bang Theory. So I was so excited to watch this because I love her to death. However, Based on a True Story is bullshit. It is crap.
Not based on a true story?
I was so upset. So
is
essentially...
it's bullshit?
This couple, they're about to have a baby and they're running out of money, and he like loses his job as a tennis coach in a way, and they stumble on a serial killer. I'm not going to say how. They stumble on a serial killer, and instead of turning him in, they make him a deal that if you don't kill anymore, we won't turn you in, but let's do a podcast about you because these like true crime podcasts are making like $20 million.
That seems morally irresponsible. I'm just going to put that out there. And legally irresponsible. That's like accessory to murder.
And that's not the worst part of the show.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No.
That sounds dark.
I will warn you guys, there is a fucking animal killed in the show, and it does not make sense, and it is very, very badly done. Like, in the sense of, they break your heart but not in a way that it's okay. And honestly, it does not make any sense. It does not play a part in the story. And to be goddamn honest, I almost shut the whole thing down and said I was done.
Walk away.
I'm really mad about that. That was one of the top problems. The other problem is just they kept cutting away to these existential like dreams, or like they would go as if this is what was going to happen forward, and then all of a sudden they like rewind it and it's like, oh no, that was a dream, or no, that was someone's fantasy in their head for a second that they did it. And I think that it's a fine thing to do, but it literally was happening like twice an episode almost, to the point that you couldn't, like, you knew it was fake. Essentially, you just knew that wasn't going to happen. It was going to be fake because every other extreme circumstance was fake. And I don't like people play on that. But besides that, I think the writing was pretty bad. It wasn't exciting. It went the way we all thought it was. Ultimately, it was just boring and not worth it.
Was this a mini series or a movie? What thing was
This
it?
is a show. So this is season 1.
It's a show.
Yes.
Oh, they made a whole show out of it. Okay.
Yes, and they have left out of a cliffhanger, and there are talks of a season 2. I don't know. As of last time I checked, it was not renewed for another season, but that could be different now because that was a week or two ago. But yeah, I was just very disappointed. And Peacock spent a lot of money advertising this. They really were pushing this everywhere, and I was excited, but besides that,
disappointing.
I did watch 65, which is on Netflix. It has Adam Driver in it, which is the only reason.
Oh, there you go.
I wouldn't really recommend the movie for anyone, but it was the best 2 hours I spent one Sunday night.
Wait, is this the one where he's on the planet with dinosaurs?
Yes.
Oh, I like that one.
Oh, you saw it?
I did. I saw it when I think it first came out on streaming. I actually really liked it because I like disaster type movies. So
yes. There are a lot of problems with it, so I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. On a Saturday night when you have nothing else to do and you just make yourself some popcorn and you're like, let's just stay in and do this. It's a good time. It's a good Saturday night.
Because, nothing makes sense. The fact that we have all this intelligent life 65 million years ago, but they didn't know that there was an asteroid field. And why is he the only one awake on the ship and everyone's asleep? And why is it that he had to, not have anyone to talk to, and then the one person he gets to talk to, he still can't?
I forget a lot of what happened because it was a very of-the-moment type movie, and then I just, erased it from my brain after that, which is why I didn't remember what it was called when you mentioned it. But yes.
But there was one jump scare in it that I definitely, when it happened, I applauded. I was like, that was good. You got me. You got me. It was when they were in the cave right before they, get...
Yes, the cave. I remember, yeah. Yeah,
I
agree. That was a good moment.
But I was just
I knew it was coming, but it was a good moment.
I did not see it coming. I honestly
really?
thought it was going to be the thing in front of them. That's why I'm it was a good jump scare. It's definitely going to go in top memory. Haunting at Hill House still has number 1. Because normally I can catch jump scares 99% of the time. But Haunting at Hill House, they did not do the trick that gives it away. There's a trick.
I forget what happened in Haunting of Hill House. I wasn't a huge fan of Haunting of Hill House.
I loved Haunting of Hill House. Okay.
I liked the first few episodes, and then I got bored halfway through, and I'm like, can we just wrap this up now? That's how I feel about those things.
Yeah, the last 2 episodes were a little slow. I will agree, but I think that the first 6 were phenomenal. So good. And then I'm binging Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's my current obsession. I'm all the way mostly through season 4. It's going. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's going.
I expect a tour guide.
Okay. Yeah. When you come to New Jersey, I will take you to all the Housewives of New Jersey hotspots in New Jersey.
But yeah, that's my recap.
Okay.
That's
I feel pretty good. You had definitely a lot more than I did.
I know. I was about to say here. I was like, what did I do? Well, it's summer, so not June. July and August, I get really slow about my work, and I'm more of just upkeep, and I don't really progress, and I take some time off, and I think that's where my content really speeds up. So yeah, but did you have anything else you wanted to add, or are we good? We can just wrap up right here.
I think we're good. I'm ready to wrap up. How about you?
I think I'm good. I just want to remind all of our listeners, Strange Sally Diamond, last Thursday of August, if you want to join, by Liz Nugent. And sound off below if you watched anything that you really want the world to know about that you loved in the past 30 days. Like, let us know. Or it can be a book, but like, let us know what you're watching and reading. We'd really like to know. We'd really like to build like a community of dark readers and watchers. So,
Yeah. And get more recommendations so we know what to watch and listen to and read as well.
and if you please don't forget, if you are either watching us on YouTube or a podcast format, please follow or subscribe. Leave us a quick little review, rate us. It really helps us boost up on the charts, and it's kind of like tipping your waiter. It helps us to proceed forward and making this great content for all of you. And we hope that you have a great time, and we'll see you next week. Bye, friends.
Bye.